Hello everyone, welcome to my update US gossip channel. Meri Brown, poised yet visibly trembling, rose from her seat with a stack of papers clutched tightly in her hands, her eyes flashing with a mixture of determination and suppressed rage. She had spent months quietly gathering evidence, documents hidden in plain sight, emails carefully archived, financial records meticulously annotated, and now, as she approached the front of the courtroom, the eyes of the world, well, at least the few reporters allowed in, the gallery packed with extended family members, legal aides, and the ever-curious neighbors, were glued to her every movement, whispering to each other in a flurry of speculation about what she might reveal, and the anticipation was almost unbearable as she cleared her throat, the sound echoing through the high-ceiling chamber like a starting gun for what was about to become the most explosive confrontation the Brown family had ever witnessed. The kind of confrontation that could irreversibly alter the delicate, often fragile web of relationships that had been carefully curated for over 2 decades, relationships that had survived multiple seasons, multiple marriages, multiple children, and multiple public scandals. Yet here, in this sterile, intimidating room dominated by the polished wooden judge's bench, the flags in the corners, and the solemnity of legal procedure, Meri was about to shatter all pretense of civility. And the first thing that caught the judge's eye, Judge Hamilton, a no-nonsense figure who had presided over countless family disputes but rarely had a case quite this sensational, was the glint of something metallic sticking out from between the pages in Meri's folder, which turned out to be a series of printed contracts that appeared mundane at first glance but, upon closer inspection, revealed clauses that no one in the room, including Kody or Robyn, had anticipated. Clauses that implicated them both in what could only be described as a covert, highly structured financial arrangement with TLC, an arrangement that had been carefully concealed, and the revelation of which would leave the courtroom reeling, because the documents detailed not only a hidden $250,000 payout but also a series of stipulations governing appearances, narrative control, and profit-sharing that went far beyond what any of the sister wives, or the public, had ever imagined. And as Meri, with a voice steady yet charged with emotion, began to read aloud excerpts from the contract, each word landing like a hammer, she described how Kody had, over the years, in concert with Robyn, allegedly orchestrated these payments and manipulations to position themselves favorably both financially and publicly, while minimizing the visibility of the contributions and sacrifices made by the other wives. And the room reacted immediately, a low murmur swelling into audible gasps as the implications became clearer, with Janelle shifting uncomfortably in her seat, Christine's jaw dropping, and even Robyn, usually so composed, pale, and staring at the papers as if seeing her own reflection in a funhouse mirror. The contract revealed clauses stipulating that Meri's appearances, her storylines, and her family interactions had been deliberately crafted to boost Kody and Robyn's segments, increasing their exposure and, by extension, their financial gain. And Meri's attorney, who had been quietly taking notes and occasionally nodding in quiet approval, stepped forward to highlight key points. Not only had Kody and Robyn allegedly signed off on these arrangements without full disclosure to the other wives, but they had also actively misrepresented the financials to TLC executives, ensuring that Meri's portion, and potentially the portions of Christine and Janelle, were minimized in the network's internal accounting. And as the judge leaned forward, scrutinizing the documents with a furrowed brow, Meri continued, describing in precise, painstaking detail how the $250,000 payout had been structured as a series of consulting fees and bonus allocations, cleverly disguised to avoid detection, all while Kody maintained a public persona of fairness and unity, claiming to treat each wife equally. And the irony, of course, was that this very pretense had lulled the other wives into a false sense of security, a fact that made the courtroom tension almost unbearable, because now, the truth, meticulously documented and impossible to ignore, was laid bare, leaving Robyn flustered, Kody defensive yet visibly sweating under the scrutiny, and the gallery buzzing with incredulous whispers, the kind of whispers that could be heard even by the court reporter as she typed furiously, documenting history in real time. And Meri, sensing the momentum, pressed forward, pointing out how the hidden contract had included not only financial clauses but also narrative clauses that subtly manipulated how conflicts were portrayed, how emotional moments were edited for maximum dramatic impact, and how certain family interactions had been staged to enhance Kody and Robyn's visibility, all of which painted a picture of systematic orchestration that the judge had rarely, if ever, seen in cases involving family entertainment contracts, and as she spoke, her voice rising slightly, carrying both authority and righteous indignation, she recounted specific instances, the infamous Kody Pass dispute, the strategic placement of storylines around Christine's business ventures, the timing of Janelle's detox reveal, all of which coincided suspiciously with Robyn's personal story arcs and Kody's public appearances, suggesting coordination beyond what could be considered coincidental. And then came the moment when the hidden contract, placed under a spotlight of judicial scrutiny, revealed the kicker clause, a provision granting Kody and Robyn first rights to any spin-offs, bonus distributions, or residual income from merchandise or branding deals connected to the show, effectively cutting the other wives out of potentially lucrative opportunities. And as the judge read this aloud, his voice, calm yet tinged with disbelief, resonated through the room. "This is extraordinary. I have never seen a family entertainment contract with such layers of hidden stipulations." And at that moment, even Kody, attempting to maintain composure, could not mask the flicker of panic in his eyes, while Robyn, seated beside him, shifted uncomfortably, fingers intertwined nervously, all while Meri stood tall, unwavering, finally allowing herself a small, satisfied breath as she realized that the painstaking work of months of research and documentation was paying off, the hidden truths now undeniable. And as the courtroom drama unfolded further, witnesses called to testify about their observations, including former production assistants and insiders who corroborated Meri's claims of staged storylines and selective editing, each adding another layer of credibility, while the judge, visibly astounded, took intermittent notes, occasionally glancing up at the stunned faces of Kody and Robyn, who alternated between denial, feigned innocence, and thinly veiled attempts at justification. And as the testimony built momentum, the emotional weight of years of tension, manipulation, and unspoken grievances came to a head, with Christine whispering to her attorney, "I knew something was off, but this is insane," and Janelle, holding back tears, muttered under her breath, "Finally, it's all coming out." And even the gallery, a mix of journalists, family friends, and curious onlookers, leaned forward, hanging on every revelation, their smartphones discreetly recording snippets for posterity. While outside the courtroom, cameras from local media outlets began to gather, sensing the magnitude of the unfolding scandal, the $250,000 payout, the hidden contracts, and the alleged manipulation were more than just a family dispute. They were a full-blown revelation about the inner workings of a reality TV empire. And as Meri concluded her reading, laying the final contract on the judge's bench with a deliberate, emphatic thud, the room held its collective breath, the silence almost suffocating, broken only by the sound of Judge Hamilton adjusting his glasses and exhaling slowly. "Ms. Brown, your documentation, it is extensive and deeply troubling. I will need time to review these materials, but I must say, I am stunned." And with that statement, a ripple of tension, disbelief, and vindication swept through the courtroom, Kody's expression tight and rigid, Robyn's composure fraying, and Meri finally allowing herself a faint, victorious smile, knowing that, for the first time in years, the power dynamics that had long favored Kody and Robyn were now being challenged in the most public and authoritative way possible. And as the judge called for a brief recess, the murmur of conversations escalated into full-on speculation about what would happen next. Would the contract be invalidated? Would the payout be returned? Could TLC face repercussions? And in that charged atmosphere, Meri's quiet confidence spoke louder than any words, because in exposing the hidden contract and the $250,000 payout, she had not only shocked the judge but also disrupted the carefully curated image of the Brown family, demonstrating that even in a world dominated by televised reality, meticulous research, courage, and persistence could bring hidden truths to light. And as everyone filed out for the recess, cameras flashing, whispers filling the hallways, and Kody and Robyn regrouping in hushed, urgent conversation, it was clear to all present that nothing in the family, or the show, would ever be the same again, that Meri had shifted the balance irrevocably, and that the road ahead, full of legal wrangling, public scrutiny, and emotional fallout, promised to be as dramatic, volatile, and riveting as the courtroom scene that had just unfolded, leaving everyone, from the judge to the gallery to the viewers who would later watch the televised highlights, stunned, enthralled, and eagerly awaiting the next explosive chapter in the saga of the sister wives, where loyalty, deception, money, and love intertwined in a way that only reality television and real-life family drama could produce.